underground. Aaron felt both excitement and fear, but he knew he had to find out what was inside. Taking a deep breath, Aaron stepped onto the staircase and began his descent. The air inside was cold, and the walls were damp, but as he went deeper, he noticed strange carvings on the walls. These carvings seemed to tell the story of Zarathia, its rise, its glory, and finally, its disappearance. When Aaron reached the bottom of the stairs, he found himself standing in a massive underground hall. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. There were tall pillars made of stone, huge statues of kings and queens, and golden artifacts scattered around. The hall was dark, but in the center, there was a faint glow coming from a large, circular object, a crystal orb. Aaron walked toward the orb, drawn to its mysterious light. As he reached out to touch it, a voice echoed through the hall. "Who dares to enter the lost city of Zarathia?" Aaron froze in place. "My name is Aaron," he said, his voice trembling. "I come from the village nearby. I'm searching for the lost city." The voice softened. "You have found it, young one. But the city of Zarathia is not just a place, it is a test. Only those with courage and a pure heart can unlock its secrets." Aaron's heart was racing, but he stood tall. "I'm not afraid," he said. "I want to learn the truth about Zarathia." The voice grew silent for a moment, and then the orb began to glow brighter. The statues in the hall seemed to come to life, their eyes following Aaron as he moved closer to the orb. Suddenly, the orb split into two, revealing a hidden doorway behind it. Aaron walked through the doorway and found himself in a beautiful garden. The garden was unlike anything he had ever seen. Flowers of every color filled the air with a sweet fragrance, and a clear stream ran through the center. In the middle of the garden stood a tall tree with golden leaves, and at the base of the tree was a book. The voice spoke again. "This is the heart of Zarathia. The tree holds the knowledge and power of the lost city, but knowledge comes with responsibility. If you take the book, you must promise to protect Zarathia's secrets and use them only for good." Aaron knelt before the tree and took the book in his hands. "I promise," he said quietly. As soon as he made the promise, the garden began to fade, and Aaron found himself standing back at the entrance of the hall. The crystal orb was gone, and the staircase behind him had disappeared. But in his hands, he still held the book. With the book in his possession, Aaron returned to his village. He shared some of the knowledge he had learned from the book, helping his people build better homes and grow stronger crops. However, he kept many of Zarathia's secrets hidden, just as he had promised. Over the years, Aaron became known as a wise and kind leader. And although he never revealed the exact location of Zarathia, the legend of the lost city continued to live on in his village, passed down from generation to generation. Thank you for watching The Lost City of Zarathia. We hope you enjoyed the story and learned some new English words along the way. Don't forget to leave a comment and let us know what you think. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more fun stories and English lessons. See you next time.
Welcome to Mia and the Mystery of the Blue House. This simple and fun story is perfect for a One English learners. Join Mia on her adventure as she explores a strange house in her village. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more easy English stories. Story: Mia was a curious girl. She lived in a quiet village with her parents. In her village, there was a house that no one lived in. The house was big, old, and blue. It was at the end of Mia's street. People said it was empty, but Mia was not so sure. Every day, Mia walked past the blue house on her way to school. She always looked at it. Why is it so quiet? She thought. The windows were always closed and the door was never open. Mia asked her parents, "Why is the blue house empty?" Her mother said, "It's an old house, Mia. No one has lived there for many years." Her father added, "People say the house is haunted. They say strange things happen inside." This made Mia even more curious. She did not believe in ghosts, but she wanted to know more about the house. One afternoon, after school, Mia stood at the gate of the blue house. She looked at the big windows and the tall door. She wanted to go inside, but she was not brave enough. Suddenly, Mia heard a noise. It sounded like a soft knock. Is someone inside? Mia thought. She listened closely, but the noise stopped. Mia felt excited and a little scared. The next day, Mia told her best friend Max about the blue house. "I heard a noise from inside," she said. Max laughed. "Maybe it was a ghost." Mia shook her head. "I don't believe in ghosts, but I think someone lives there." Max was not as curious as Mia, but he liked an adventure. "Let's go to the house after school today," he said. "We can see what's inside." That afternoon, Mia and Max walked to the blue house together. They stood at the gate, looking up at the windows. Everything was quiet. "Are you sure you heard something?" Max asked. "Yes," Mia said. "I heard it yesterday." She took a deep breath. "Let's go in." Max was a little scared. "What if we get in trouble?" he asked. But Mia was brave. She pushed open the gate and together they walked up to the door. Mia knocked softly. At first, nothing happened. The house was silent. Then, suddenly, the door opened by itself. Mia and Max looked at each other with wide eyes. "Should we go inside?" Max asked, his voice shaking a little. "Yes," Mia said, her heart racing. "Let's see what's in there." They stepped into the house. Inside, it was warm and clean. The furniture was old but beautiful. The walls were painted light blue. The air smelled like flowers. Mia noticed a big picture on the wall. It showed a family, a mother, father, and 2 children. The children were smiling, and the picture looked very old. "Wow," Max said. "This house doesn't look empty." Suddenly, they heard a voice. It was soft and kind. "Who is there?" the voice asked. Mia and Max looked around. An old woman was standing at the top of the stairs. She smiled at them. "Hello?" Mia said nervously. "We are sorry. We thought the house was empty." The old woman walked down the stairs slowly. "Many people think that," she said. "But I live here. I have lived here for many years." Mia was confused. "Why does the village think the house is empty?" The old woman smiled. "It's a long story. Many years ago, this house was full of life. My family lived here, but now they are all gone. I stay here to remember them." Mia and Max felt sad for the old woman. "Do you ever feel lonely?" Mia asked. The old woman nodded. "Sometimes, but I have many memories in this house. I do not want to leave it," Max asked. "The people in the village think no one lives here." The old woman sighed. "When my family left, I felt sad. I closed the windows because I didn't want to see the world outside. But now, maybe it is time to open them again." Mia and Max sat down with the old woman. She made them tea and they talked for a long time. The old woman told them stories about her family and about the village. Mia and Max learned that the Blue House was once the most beautiful house in the village. It had big parties, happy music, and many visitors. Where did they go? Max asked. My brother went to live in a big city, the old woman explained. My parents passed away many years ago. Now, it's just me. But I have all these memories to keep me company. Mia and Max felt sorry for the woman. We will visit you again, Mia promised. You don't have to be lonely. Before they left, Mia asked, Can we tell people in the village that you live here? The old woman smiled. Yes, my dear. It's time for people to know I'm still here. From that day on, Mia, Max, and their friends visited the Blue House often. The old woman opened the windows, and soon the villagers saw her smiling at them from the door. She invited people to her house for tea and stories. The Blue House was no longer a mystery, and the village was happy to welcome her back. Thank you for watching Mia and the Mystery of the Blue House. We hope you enjoyed the story and learned some new English words. Don't forget to leave a comment and let us know what you think. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more fun stories and English lessons. See you next time.
Welcome to Learn English with Fairy Tales. Today, we're going to enjoy a classic tale, Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a small village near the forest. She always wore a red cape with a hood, so people called her Little Red Riding Hood. She was kind, cheerful, and loved by everyone. One morning, her mother called her. Little Red Riding Hood, your grandmother is feeling sick. Please take this basket of food to her. It has bread, cheese, and her favorite cookies. Little Red Riding Hood replied, Okay, mother, I will go now. Her mother warned her, Stay on the path and don't talk to strangers. The forest can be dangerous. Little Red Riding Hood promised, Yes, mother, I'll be careful. She put on her red cape, took the basket, and started walking through the forest. The forest was beautiful. The trees were tall, and the sun shone through the leaves. She heard birds singing and saw butterflies flying around. She stopped to pick some flowers for her grandmother. As she was picking flowers, a wolf appeared from behind a tree. Good morning, little girl, said the wolf. Good morning, Mr. Wolf, said Little Red Riding Hood. Where are you going on this lovely day? Asked the wolf. I'm going to my grandmother's house. She is sick and I'm bringing her some food. The wolf's eyes lit up. Where is your grandmother? He asked. She lives in the little house at the end of this path near the big oak tree, said Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf thought to himself, I can eat the grandmother first and then this little girl. The wolf smiled and said, That's very kind of you. Well, goodbye, little girl. She continued her walk, enjoying the forest. She didn't know that the wolf had gone ahead to her grandmother's house. When the wolf arrived, he knocked on the door. Who is it? Asked the grandmother. It's me, said the wolf, pretending to be the little girl. Oh, come in, my dear, said the grandmother. The wolf entered the house and immediately locked the grandmother in a closet. Then he put on her nightgown and glasses and got into bed. A few minutes later, Little Red Riding Hood arrived. She knocked on the door. "Who is it?" asked the wolf, trying to sound like the grandmother. "It's me," she said. "Come in, my dear," said the wolf. She entered the house. She looked at her grandmother lying in bed. Something seemed strange. "Grandmother, what big eyes you have," she said. "The better to see you with, my dear," said the wolf. "Grandmother, what big ears you have. The better to hear you with, my dear." "Grandmother, what big teeth you have. The better to eat you with," shouted the wolf. The wolf jumped out of bed and chased Little Red Riding Hood. She screamed and ran around the room. Just then, a woodcutter who was nearby heard her cries. The woodcutter burst into the house. He saw the wolf and shouted, "Leave her alone." The woodcutter grabbed his axe and scared the wolf away. The wolf ran out of the house and disappeared into the forest. Little Red Riding Hood quickly opened the closet and freed her grandmother. "Thank you, Mr. Woodcutter," she said. "You're welcome. But remember, little girl, don't talk to strangers," said the woodcutter. Little Red Riding Hood hugged her grandmother and said, "I'm sorry, grandmother. I promise to be more careful next time." From that day on, she always listened to her mother and never spoke to strangers again. I hope you enjoyed the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Thank you for joining me today.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Learn English with Fairy Tales.
Today, we will listen to a famous story, The Golden Goose. This story will help you learn English step by step. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends. Let's begin.
Once upon a time, there was a farmer who lived in a small, quiet village. He had a little house with one room. His house was made of old wood and straw. Every morning, the farmer woke up early. The sky was still dark, but he had to start his work. He worked on his small farm all day. He grew vegetables and took care of his chickens and cows. But no matter how hard he worked, he stayed poor. At night, he ate bread and soup. He looked at the stars and wished for a better life. One morning, the farmer was walking in his field. It was a sunny day. Suddenly, he saw something shiny in the grass. It was a goose, but not an ordinary goose. This goose had golden feathers. Its feathers shone brightly in the sunlight. The goose looked weak and tired. The farmer picked up the goose and said, "You are special. I will take care of you." He carried the goose back to his small house and gave it food and water. The next morning, the farmer went to check on the goose. He saw something incredible. In the goose's nest, there was a golden egg. The farmer picked up the egg. It was heavy and shiny. He couldn't believe his eyes. He ran to the market to sell the egg. The shopkeeper looked at the egg and said, "This is real gold." The farmer got a lot of money. He bought food, clothes, and tools. Every day, the goose laid one golden egg. The farmer became richer and richer. Over time, the farmer's life changed completely. He built a bigger house. He bought new furniture, better clothes, and even a horse. He ate delicious meals every day. But the farmer was not happy. He wanted more. He thought, Why does the goose give me only one egg? There must be more golden eggs inside the goose. His greed started to grow. He wanted all the golden eggs now. He decided to do something terrible. One night, the farmer sat at his table. He looked at the goose and said, "Tomorrow, I will take all the eggs at once. I will be the richest man in the world." The next morning, he picked up a knife. The goose looked at him, but the farmer did not stop. He thought about the gold and the life he wanted. He killed the goose and opened it. When the farmer opened the goose, he was shocked. There were no golden eggs inside. The goose was just like any other goose. The farmer sat down and cried. He realized his mistake. He had lost everything. Now he had no goose and no golden eggs. The farmer returned to his small old house. He sold his big house, his furniture, and his horse. He became poor again. He learned a big lesson. Greed can destroy everything. Be patient and happy with what you have. And that is the story of the golden goose. What did you learn from this story? Write your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends. See you next time on Learn English with Fairy Tales.
Hello, welcome to Easy English Fairy Tales. Today we have a very special story for you, The Brave Little Mouse. This story is perfect for English learners. It's about a small mouse named Milo who proves that even the smallest creature can be the bravest. As you listen to the story, try to learn new words and phrases. Let's begin. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there lived a tiny mouse named Milo. Milo was so small that even the other mice teased him. Milo the scared mouse, they called him because he was afraid of everything. Milo didn't like loud noises, dark shadows, or big animals. He felt safe only in his small hole in the farmer's kitchen wall. One day, a big problem came to the village. A fierce and clever cat named Whiskers moved into the barn. Whiskers was not like other cats. He was fast, strong, and always hungry. Every day, Whiskers caught small animals, birds, rabbits, and even a few mice. The animals of the village were terrified. "We must do something," cried Bella the rabbit. "If we don't stop the cat, none of us will be safe." The animals decided to have a meeting under the old oak tree. Rabbits, squirrels, birds, and mice came to discuss how to stop Whiskers. Even Mr. Owl, the wisest animal, joined the meeting. At the meeting, Mr. Owl spoke. "We need a plan. The cat is too fast and too clever. We cannot fight him, but we can trick him." "How can we trick him?" asked Max the bird, flapping his tiny wings. Mr. Owl thought for a moment. Then he said, "We must tie a bell around the cat's neck. When the cat moves, the bell will ring, and we will hear him coming. Then we can run away before he catches us." The animals clapped and cheered. "That's a great idea," they said. But then Mr. Owl asked, "Who will tie the bell to the cat?" Suddenly, the animals became very quiet. Bella the rabbit shook her head. "I can't do it," she said. "The cat will catch me." Max the bird said, "I'm too small. The cat will see me." Freddy the fox said, "I'm too scared. The cat is dangerous." The animals began to argue. "We need the bell," shouted one. "But no one will tie it," shouted another. Then a small voice said, "I will do it." The animals turned to see Milo, the little mouse. They were surprised. "You," said Freddy the Fox, "you are the smallest of all of us." "Yes," said Milo, "I am small, but I am also fast and quiet. I can do it." The animals whispered to each other, "Could Milo really do it?" Mr. Owl said, "If you are brave enough, Milo, we will give you the bell." That night, while the moon was high in the sky, Milo prepared for his dangerous mission. Bella gave him a ribbon, and Max tied the bell to it. Milo took the ribbon and walked toward the barn. The barn was dark and quiet. Milo's heart was beating fast, but he did not stop. He crept closer and closer to Whiskers, the big cat, who was sleeping under some hay. The cat's tail twitched, but it did not wake up. Milo climbed onto the cat's back. He gently tied the ribbon with the bell around the cat's neck. Suddenly, the bell jingled softly and Milo froze. The cat opened one eye, but then it closed again. Milo quickly jumped down and ran back to the old oak tree. When Milo returned, all the animals cheered. "Milo, you are a hero," said Bella. "You are the bravest of us all," said Max. Even Freddy the Fox said, "I was wrong about you, Milo. You are small, but you are the bravest animal in the village." From that day on, the animals were safe. Whenever the cat moved, the bell rang, and the animals had time to run away. Milo was no longer called Milo the Scared Mouse. Now he was Milo the Brave. Milo learned an important lesson. Being brave doesn't mean you are not afraid. It means doing the right thing, even when you are scared. Thank you for listening to The Brave Little Mouse. This story teaches us that size doesn't matter when it comes to courage. Did you enjoy the story? What was your favorite part? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more easy English stories. See you in the next video. Hello, welcome to Learn English with Fairy Tales. Today, we're going on a magical journey with a brand new story called The Whispering Woods. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Now, let's start the story. Once, in a small town at the edge of a great forest, there lived a boy named Finn. Finn was 14 years old, curious, and always exploring the world around him. He lived with his father, a woodcutter, and his little sister, Lily. Finn loved listening to his grandmother's stories about the forest, especially the one about the Whispering Woods. The Whispering Woods was no ordinary forest. The trees were said to talk to each other, and magical creatures lived deep inside. But no one who entered the woods ever came back. One day, Finn's father came home looking worried. "The town needs wood for the winter," he said, "but I can't go near the Whispering Woods. It's too dangerous." That night, Finn couldn't sleep. He thought about the stories and the danger. What if the woods aren't as scary as people say, he wondered. Early the next morning, he packed a bag with some bread, cheese, and a small lantern. Quietly, he slipped out of the house and headed toward the forest. When Finn entered the woods, he felt a chill run down his spine. The trees were tall and ancient, their branches twisting together like fingers. As he walked deeper, he began to hear whispers. At first, they were soft and hard to understand, but soon they grew louder. Turn back, the voices said. This is not your place. Finn hesitated but decided to keep going. He wanted to prove that the stories were just tales. Suddenly, he saw a light ahead. Curious, he followed it until he reached a clearing. In the center stood a glowing tree. Its trunk was silver, and its leaves shimmered like gold. As Finn approached the tree, a small creature appeared. It was no bigger than a rabbit, with fur that sparkled like stars and eyes that glowed green. "Why are you here, human?" it asked in a gentle but serious voice. "I wanted to see the Whispering Woods for myself," Finn replied. "I've heard so many stories about this place." The creature nodded. "This is the heart of the woods. We protect the balance of nature, but the balance is in danger. Will you help us?" Finn felt nervous but also determined. "What can I do?" he asked. The creature explained that a dark force had been spreading through the woods, corrupting the trees and scaring away the animals. "Take this seed," it said, handing Finn a small, glowing seed. "Plant it at the edge of the woods. It will restore the balance." Finn took the seed and began his journey back. The whispers grew louder, warning him to stop. Dark shadows moved among the trees, trying to block his path. But Finn held the seed tightly and kept moving. He remembered his grandmother's stories about courage and kindness. Finally, Finn reached the edge of the forest. He dug a small hole and planted the seed. As soon as he covered it with soil, a bright light spread through the woods. The shadows disappeared, and the whispers turned into soft songs. The trees stood tall and proud, their leaves shining in the sunlight. The small creature appeared again. "You have saved the Whispering Woods," it said. "Thank you, Finn. Remember, courage comes from the heart." Finn returned home to his family, carrying a golden leaf from the magical tree as proof of his adventure. He told his sister and father about the woods, but he left out the parts that might scare them. From that day on, Finn knew that even the smallest actions could make a big difference. And that's the end of our story, The Whispering Woods. What did you think of Finn's adventure? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on Learn English with Fairy Tales. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. See you next time for another magical story. Bye for now. Today, we will explore the story of the magic paintbrush. It is a tale of kindness, courage, and creativity. Let's start. In a small village near the mountains, a boy named Leo lived. Leo was 10 years old. He was creative and kind. He loved to draw, but his family was poor. He had no paper, paint, or brushes. Instead, he used sticks to draw in the dirt. For colors, he used leaves and flowers. Every day, Leo sat by the river. He drew animals, trees, and stars. The villagers loved his art. They wished he had real tools. They believed he could create amazing art with them. One morning, an old woman appeared. She wore a green coat. Her hair was white and her eyes sparkled. She watched Leo drawing. She smiled at his work. The woman gave Leo a gift. It was a golden paintbrush. She told him it was special. She said it should be used to help others. Leo held the brush with wonder. He thanked the woman and ran home. At home, Leo found a small piece of wood. He dipped the brush in water and painted a fish. The fish came to life. It jumped off the wood and into the river. Leo stared in amazement. The next day, his neighbor Clara had no food. Leo painted a basket of apples. The apples became real. Clara smiled with joy. She thanked Leo for his kindness. Word spread quickly about Leo's magic brush. Leo used the brush to help everyone. He painted warm clothes for the children. He painted tools for the farmers. He even painted houses for people without homes. The village became happy and peaceful. One day, a girl named Mia visited Leo. She brought a broken toy bird. She asked for his help. Leo painted a new bird. It became real and chirped happily. Mia laughed and clapped her hands. She stayed to watch Leo paint. Mia helped Leo with his work. She fetched water for his paints. She told people about the magic brush. They became good friends. Mia admired Leo's kindness. Mia asked Leo how he felt when he painted. Leo said it made him happy. He believed the brush worked because he painted with love and care. Mia began learning from Leo. She practiced drawing every day. Leo encouraged her and showed her simple techniques. Soon, Mia became very good at painting too. One day, a strong storm hit the village. Houses were damaged. Fields were flooded. People were worried about the future. Leo and Mia decided to help. They painted strong new roofs for the houses. They painted dry fields full of healthy crops. The villagers were grateful. But as they worked, they noticed a man watching them. He was tall with a dark cloak. It was Lord Hugo, the ruler of the village. He had heard about the brush and wanted it for himself. Lord Hugo came to Leo's house with guards. He demanded the brush. Leo refused to give it to him. The guards searched the house and found the brush. They took it to Lord Hugo. He laughed and said he would use it to make himself rich. Lord Hugo tried to use the brush. He painted gold coins, but they turned into stones. He painted food, but it became sand. He became angry and threw the brush into the river. He said no one could have it now. Leo and Mia were heartbroken. They sat by the river thinking of a plan. They decided to search for the brush. They walked along the riverbank. They asked animals for help. A squirrel pointed to a spot in the river. They found shiny stones, but not the brush. Mia and Leo searched there. The old woman appeared again. She touched the water and the brush floated to the surface. She gave it back to Leo. She told him the brush always returned to kind hands. Leo promised to use it wisely. Leo and Mia traveled to other villages. They helped people rebuild homes. They painted wells for clean water. They created fields of crops. Everywhere they went, they brought hope and joy. In one village, they met an old man. He had lost his family in a fire. Leo painted a picture of the man's family. It became real. The old man cried with happiness. Mia comforted him and told him he was never alone. In another village, they found a girl who could not walk. Mia had an idea. Leo painted a special chair with wheels. The girl smiled as she moved around for the first time. The villagers cheered for Leo and Mia. One day, Leo and Mia reached a town where people were afraid. A wild animal was destroying crops and scaring villagers. Leo painted a trap to catch the animal. It worked, but the animal was not wild. It was hungry and lost. Mia gave it food and water. The villagers learned to care for it. In another town, they found a sick boy. Leo painted medicine for him. The boy got better. His family thanked Leo and Mia. They said the two friends were heroes. They also encountered a wise woman who asked them a riddle. She said only those with pure